It just beans more here at SEC Media Days. Todd Gurley joining
what's
me
going on? How
on
you doing,
behalf
man?
of Bush's Grill and Beans.
Yeah, man. No, like you said, out here on behalf of Bush's Grill and Beans, the official beans of the SEC, at third year going into partnership, and for me to be able to represent them and partner with them, man, means a lot. They could have picked a lot of people. We got the NIL stuff going on, and so definitely a great feeling. And I live in LA, so year round, and you can grill year round.
Weather.
Yeah, exactly. Not exactly. We don't grill how we do in the South, but
right.
That's why I partner with a Bush's Grill and Beans, and give it a little bit more bold flavor to
show
my
the
taste.
people on the West Coast how that works.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just happy to see you.
Oh, thank you.
With
man.
an NIL deal at an SEC event.
Yeah,
and the cops aren't showing it. This is your case. I think was one that bothered everybody more than anything else because it was a few $100 for signing autographs, and it was, and I had to write about it too.
Yeah,
and it felt. I remember asking this at the time. I was like, this feels like we're talking about somebody who committed a crime.
Yeah.
But you just
and then the people that commit crime don't even get suspended that long.
No,
sometimes. So
no,
I mean, obviously, at the time, right? Like, what I did was like wrong, but more for me, feel bad. Like I don't feel bad, but I felt bad for like putting my teammates in a situation and obviously like missing games. And I think we end up losing like to Florida and stuff like that. But honestly, man, how times has changed, and sometimes I honestly forget sometimes that I got suspended, but to be able to see how it's changed now and just to look at the journey and like you said, to have a name, image, likeness deal with Bush's Grill and Beans here at SEC Media Day, and reliving these college memories, and it's been cool, man. It's been a cool day.
Well, let's talk about your time there, because I've done some work with Aaron Murray, and he talks about when you got there, it was just like, holy crap, this guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
he always get that story.
when you got to Georgia, I mean, that 2012 team was just stacked.
Jarvis Jones, Rambo, Ogletree, John Jenkins. John Jenkins still in the lead to the day. Aaron Murray, Chris Conley, Tavares King, Marlon Brown, Michael Bennett, Keith Marshall. Like, people forget. Yeah. Like, I was like Chris, the smartest guy on the team. Your job's to catch the ball. He catches the ball. And I always wondered that was kind of my fault too, because no. The guy that tipped it was it was like it's just happened so fast. It was like like I'm supposed to go, I think, cut him, and he ended up tipping the ball, and it's like, but that's why you kind of go through those situations, and it was definitely a learning experience. But yeah, it was just a tough game. But that also wasn't the only play that not saying that lost us the game, but it's also other plays around the game where we probably could have done better at. How hard was it to watch that Notre Dame Alabama game after that? Yeah, knowing it could have been you. Yeah, because it was a blowout, right? Being in there, but them, to make us feel better, right? It was like, well, at least we played in the championship game, because that was like the championship. That was the real national championship. Yeah. No, it was. Man, that game was crazy. That's when I realized, like, I was like, oh, I think I got a chance to go to the NFL. I rushed for I did a good job against Alabama. Yeah. Like, I think more people do better jobs against Alabama now, but back then it was like nobody did anything against their defense. Okay, I'm going to ask you about it because I've never heard anybody say it like that, but I've always wondered, for guys who make it to the league, like, when is that moment the light bulb goes off? So, like, coming out of high school, you didn't necessarily know if you could make it to the NFL? Like, it took... Honestly, man, I was just having fun. Yeah. I was just having fun. I never did, like, 7-on-7s and the camps, and I had someone who made it to the NFL from my high school, and Sean Drone, he was a running back. So being able to see that, it was like, all right, believable. But like me as a young kid and like believing in myself, like I was just like you said, like I just was like, man, because I always looked up to a lot of guys, and not to say it like that, it's like, dang, these guys I looked up to, I end up becoming them, if not I guess on a talent wise, like a little better. And
right.
That's when I was just like, all right, bro, like you got to start taking this thing a little bit more serious. So,
and against that Bama defense, all those dudes are going to play in the league. So,
and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of be in the SEC, because I think at that time, and still now to this day, maybe, at least 10 national championships out of the last 13 years or something like that, right? Like we don't give it up.
Clemson's of Florida State and Michigan.
And Michigan, and obviously Ohio State, and maybe in like
Ohio
15
State.
or something like that. Or but like, man, somebody with my jersey on down there actually.
Look at that. They're still doing it, still wearing it.
Yeah, God is good.
What's it been like to watch Georgia become what it's become?
It's fun. It's fun. Like I've been doing these interviews when like you don't want to take this stuff for granted, because when you get the winning and you're like, oh yeah, we'll be back next year, but that's not necessarily the case, man. Those guys won back in 81, and it took 41 years to win another one. So like even being here today is almost making me appreciate, like, look, man, you know what, you should get back more and should embrace it more. And like, because it's I'm sure there's a lot of people that love me and became fans. I'm sure they were already Georgia fans, but
there's a bunch probably became. And what's that like, knowing that there was probably some kid 7 or 8 years old in 2013 watching you play, and it's like, Georgia's my favorite team because Todd Gurley plays for Georgia.
For sure. It's been surreal, like meeting them. But not only that, right? Like I met my man Damian Pierce, running back for the Texans. Not only that, he went to Florida.
Yeah.
So like I met him at the rookie premiere, and to hear him, like he like was tripping out. Like he was like, no, like everybody like this player, that player. Because me growing up, right, like Adrian Peterson, he was like the GOAT at the time. And obviously you have LT and Shady McCoy, like all these guys. But he was like, no, like you my guy.
He tried to run like you.
He was like,
I remember him at Florida. He was trying to run like you.
So he was like, you're my guy. And to hear that, like, I was like, wow, that was just super dope. And that's why I always been a fan of just the younger guys, the younger generation, and just love to see the growth.
Well, and we've seen the running back position evolve.
Yeah.
And we see, the guys in the league now trying to figure out how to get paid. And what advice would you give? Let's say, like, we're on 3, so we do the recruiting rankings and stuff. What advice would you give to a guy who is about to pick his college as a running back as he enters college? Like, what should he be thinking about right now in terms of career?
Man, it's so much to think about, but you don't want to like overthink or overanalyze too, right? Because sometimes you can be your own worst enemy, getting inside your brain. So honestly, I would just say, trust your heart, trust your instincts. But at the end of the day, like, because when I came into Georgia, man, they had Isaiah Crowell, who was the number 1 running back before, and Keith Marshall was the number 1 running back in my class. So I never looked at it like, man, you might not never play. I just trust my gut instincts. I had a good relationship. I like Coach McClendon, and I like what Coach Richt stood for. So I just trusted that, and just, even without knowing what I was doing, I knew what I was doing. And sometimes we get so caught up in the wrong thing, and it's sports, right? Like, you don't want to wish injury on anybody, but 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to get hurt, and sometimes it is politics that play into it. You might not get that opportunity to play, but just keep working hard and just never give up, because guys that inspired me were guys that I probably knew they would never touch the field, but they were working harder than the people that was the so-called the best players. So that made me step my game up. But like I said, just surround yourself with great people. Just ask the right questions. There's no wrong, question, and there's no really real recipe to it. It's just, I don't know, man.
The recipe includes beans. That's get them grilling beans in the recipe.
Flavor.
That's right. Flavor, Todd Gurley, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you for the great interview, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples On 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.